So hi, today we'll be looking at how to operate Scopus AI. What is the Scopus AI for the ones who are probably hearing this for the first time, and maybe how to navigate using Scopus AI. This is something that we are going to look at. So before we start off, right, we need to understand one thing about Scopus AI is that it's kind of like a subscription that your university already has paid for, and through your university's access you're able to access this Scopus AI. So as an individual, it's not really offered to you. I don't think they are giving you the license for it, but usually your institution subscribes to it, and they usually pay a large sum of money for this, and they claim this optional add-on which is called as Scopus AI. And now one of the reasons why people are using this is to make your entire your entire research process much more easier for you, at least at the minute level. I mean, it's not something that you can rely on. You would notice that as we get into this use of Scopus AI, you would understand it's not something that we could entirely rely on, but it could be like a good tool that you can, supplement. So here we have, so I'm accessing Scopus AI remotely, and we are able to do this through Nimbus. And you can pretty much find how I'm navigating using Nimbus. So you would notice that once I'm able to, open the portal here, it's taking me to another tab, and let's wait for Scopus AI homepage to open up. So this is pretty much it. And this is the entire playing field for us. If you're looking at literature review, if you're looking for any of the document search, and let's say if you're also trying, sometimes, this is not the most orthodox way of, searching journals, but if you want to look for a journal that is apt for you, sometimes even this might help, just typing in the name of the article that you want, right? You can just pretty much find journals that have published articles related to it, and it's a good way for you to narrow down journals. So now let's look at Scopus AI. Boom, you can see the tab being open for you. So I mean, this is your entire page for Scopus AI, and let's just say you want to get some information on some topic that you're working on. Let's say I want to look at sustainability in education. Okay, this would be my topic, and let's see what Scopus AI does for us. So you might have used earlier some of the Gen AI models like Gemini, it could be ChatGPT, to just, write articles for you. I'm pretty sure you would have experimented with that. Or, to get a summary in order to, before you dive into your, any of your research piece. If you've anytime done that, and if you've gotten a result, I'm pretty sure the result looked very similar to what we have here. But what you notice in Scopus AI is that all of the references that you're getting is all alleged published references, research articles that are indexed in Scopus, which means more authenticity, right? At least to some level. So you notice that as I'm clicking on each of these numbers, this just reminds me of the IEEE format referencing. But anyway, as you click on each of these references, you would notice that it's taking me to another smaller tab, right? A pop-up. And then you notice that I'm getting the details of the entire paper related to it. So what this does is it gives you an idea of the topic in which you're working on. Sometimes it might be very difficult for you to, just search right away, go search. You just have limited time for you to gain a little bit of knowledge on what you have on the topic. And you just want to look up, get an overview. This would be a good way for you to explore that. Now, so what it does, I'll also give you a little bit of background as to how this entire search thing works. I mean, we could do that while we're also exploring some of the other features that the Scopus AI has. So we'll also have something called as concept map. And when I click on concept map, you notice that it immediately creates a diagram where you have sustainability in education, you have a global context, you have an institutional strategy, and it's linking to other sub themes related to it. So you have a core idea, and then you have it branching out into smaller sub themes and sub ideas. Okay, so gives you a concept map of the entire thing. Now let's say you want topic experts who have published some articles related to the topic that you're looking at, and that's a big deal, I'm sure, right? Because let's say even if you're working on some review, let's say you need some expertise, you need someone to validate your work, you need names that are published a lot in that. Yes, automatically you see some names that is showing up here. And this you can also refer it when you're doing some review, let's say bibliometric analysis you're doing that time. If you want to, work on some topic experts, go ahead, use this. This is a major name that you come across in sustainability. Now, so once that is done, you can also go for an expanded summary, okay, which will further expand the summary that it gave. And there's also emerging themes. So the AI also steps in further. It's also giving you emerging themes that are popping up within this topic. So expanded summary is there, right? You have all of these themes. That is, it's got more details now. And let's look at emerging themes. So emerging themes in one way also highlights or gives you the hype around the topic that you've just now described. And what is a consistent theme that scholars often work on? Now look at a consistent theme: sustainability leadership in higher education institutions. And I'm pretty sure that is quite consistent. And it's also giving you potential hypotheses for you to work on. Normally, AIs don't just give you all of this right away, but maybe something that you can look onto it. But I would suggest you consider this like a brainstorm. Because, it's still not that authentic, right? Getting any information from an AI. And then there's another consistent theme that you get: potential hypothesis. Again, there's something called as rising theme. Now, let's say you're looking at publishing in some Q1 journals or Q2 journals. You would ideally want something that's, happening. And in such cases, you can also look at the rising themes that are going on. So this is, one advantage that you have of using Scopus AI. And you also have some questions that further gets you deeper conversations into the topic. So this is how your Scopus AI works. Maybe you can click on one of this. Let's say we click on one of this and then, it automatically generates information. One good thing about this AI, this Scopus AI, is that everything is completely linked. So if you want to go back, it's all in the same thread. But once you close it, you can't get it back. So once I close this, I'll not get back the thread again. And once the login time is done, right, you'll be logged out from the... Now this is remotely done. Ideally, if you're logging into the institutional Wi-Fi, then this does not happen, but there's a time limit to it and then it logs out. And this usually stops working. And then I'll have to refresh, log in again, and I'm losing out on most of the information within the thread. So keep in mind, right, if you're working remotely, look at the time limit that you get, right, to access this. There's usually a time limit. At least for me, there's a time limit. So if I exceed the time limit, then this usually logs out and I lose access on this entire page. When I say lose access, I'll still have the thread, but I'll not be able to access some of the references. This would ideally not load. So that is an issue that you face. So, it's not a big issue. Usually try to finish your entire work quickly when you're working on this. When I say quickly, maybe under 15-20 minutes if it's possible, depending on the time that it allows you to be logged in. I wouldn't suggest you logging in, then finishing something here and then going for a cup of coffee, going outside, watching a movie and then coming back. Usually does not work. So this is how it works. I clicked on this question and then I ended up getting responses, and it's all still in the same thread. And now let's say I want to go for another question, I could still go. I could even ask a follow-up question related to it. Now let's say, how does SDG help in education? This is just a random question that I generated. So you will be still, it'll again generate results related to it. So how does this entire search mechanism work? It works with the help of something called as a vector search. And vector search is when the text data that is there present here is converted into numerical data. and then you're finding resemblance with the other data that is out there, other textual data which is converted into numerical data, and then you're finding similarities, and based on that similarities you're generating your results here. So what is happening here is you're avoiding keywords, and not entirely, but at least you're giving less importance to keywords. So usually the previous searches that you look at, you used to use Boolean operators where you're relying entirely on keyword search, and then you're generating the entire result. But this uses vector search where it tries to find similarity, and you're getting results that are very close to what you want, and then that entire result is generated. So vector search is something that they use, and one advantage is you're avoiding Boolean operators. Did I use Boolean operators? Yes. No. I just had to type in the question or the research question that I had or anything that I had in mind, and then I'm getting results related to it. So that's how it works. And another thing that happens here is, there is no hallucination of data that is happening. Now, what is this hallucination of data? Now, normally you would have noticed in other AIs, when you're trying to ask for some information, let's say ChatGPT or Gemini, it gives you some results, but in many cases it could also be inaccurate. A result, but the result that has been given out, it seems entirely confident. It's something that is seems very reliable, but factually it can be incorrect. So I'm pretty sure you would have come across that. Many times you would have asked it for some information, but you know that it's not correct. And when you ask for, when you bring that up in the chat, right, and when you confront the AI, it just apologizes, and then you end up getting the correct results. I'm pretty sure you would have gone through that. And this avoids all of that. How does it avoid it? Because the results that you're getting is generated from the published papers within Scopus database, which is considered as reliable. So when you're getting results from published papers, then hallucination of data is in most cases eliminated. So so that makes it a big deal for us. And also keep in mind, now once this is done, you want to move on to the new search, you can just click on this, and then it starts a new conversation. And sidebar can be eliminated by clicking on this. And you can also do a deep search where your entire search can be more detailed. Okay, so Scopus AI contains results that is from the year 2003 onwards. So it's just given here. So anything prior to this, you will not find it. So I suggest you want to find anything that is prior to this, just switch to other database searches. You can just go to Google Scholar. You can just look up anything else that that you're comfortable with or comfortable in. So that is up to you. Go ahead and do that. So another thing that I should have mentioned earlier is the search mainly considers data from abstracts. You want anything that is further in more detail, I suggest you read the entire paper. So this is only taking it from the abstract. So the paper might, when you read it, might have a lot of other details. It might miss out on a lot of other things. So you could get access to the paper easily, but I suggest you read the paper because it's only taking data from the abstract. So it's not a major substitute, but just a small substitute for your entire literature searching journey. So I hope that helps. I think I've covered pretty much about this entire topic. Make sure that you check it out, and yeah, maybe we will talk about some other topics in the coming videos. Thank you.